Hi guys, welcome to this lesson on absolute value graphs. If you haven't seen my tutorial already on absolute values, it might be a good idea to go back and review. But if not, continue on. So we're looking at simply graphing an absolute value graph. Now this is, for the most part, very straightforward. In fact, it's pretty much similar to graphing any graph. Now if you're ever unsure about what a particular graph looks like, I always advise to draw a table of values. The more values of x you plot in on that graph, okay, the more of an idea what you're going to get. For example, let's put in the graph values of -2, -1, 0, 1, and 2. And let's just have a look to start off with what this graph's going to look like. Now, this says the absolute value of what x is. Now, if we remember, in order to find the absolute value of something, we take the positive value. So for the first one, it means the absolute value of -2, which is +2. Absolute value of -1, which is +1. Absolute value of 0 is 0, of 1 is 1, of 2 is 2. Once we've done that, then it's a simple matter of drawing up your axis, okay, making sure that we're labeling the x and y's. Now x's, we've got -1, -2, +1, +2, and it needs to go up to 2, so 1 and 2. Obviously you can have more, which is fine. Okay, so -2, +2. It's a simple matter of now of just plotting my coordinates. -1, +1, 0, 0, 1, 1, and 2, 2. And it kind of looks like a bit of a parabola, but it's a straight line. Okay, and it bounces off 0, 0. Okay, so what you'll notice, and you're thinking about it, if you take the absolute value of x, there is no possible way that that y value could equal a negative number. It can't happen. And so what you can see here, it will never get below 0. So if I was then asked to write the domain, so my domain once again is my possible x values, well, it doesn't matter. I could get a -2, there's a value there, -1's a value, 0 is a value, 1. We have all real x values. But for my range, okay, if I look at my positive, yep, I've got a value left and right, 0, there's a value there, -1, there are no values on that graph. So my y values are greater than or equal to 0. That's my range. Okay, and that's pretty much it. Okay, I always advise to draw a table of values if you're unsure what it's going to look like. If it's just y value of x, you know, that's fine. You know, you probably be able to do that. If it's x plus 1, like that, okay, this whole graph will just shift up 1 unit. Okay, just like any other graph. If it's -1, again, same thing happens. Let's have a look at another question. We'll look at the absolute value of x take away 2. Noticing that the x take away 2 is inside the absolute value graphs, which again you'll probably think it means that it's going to be positive, so automatically I know that my range is going to be greater than or equal to 0 most likely. Okay, but if we're unsure, again I would suggest to draw a table of values or do this in your head. Now often I would do this in my head, and I wouldn't actually even draw this out, but it's for a starting point, it's not a bad idea to draw them. Okay, so x minus 2. Well, -2 minus 2 is -4, and the absolute value of -4 is +4. -1 minus 2 is -3, positive value is 3. 0 minus 2 is -2, absolute value is 2. 1 minus 2 is -1, absolute value is 1. 2 minus 2 is 0, etc. You can also see it's starting to go down to 0. Now, what's going to happen, you can see it doesn't reflect at any stage. So sometimes it can be a good idea, if it doesn't reflect at any stage, just to go a little bit further. 3 take away 2 is 1, 4 take away 2 is 2, and now we can see where it's going to be bouncing off and going back up. So I'm going to draw my x and y axis. So I'm going to go up to 4, 1, 2, 3, 4. You can put your negative values in there if you wish. I'm not going to this time. My y values have to go up to 4. 1, 2, 3. Well, for us, probably hasn't because I haven't done the negative values, but that's okay. All right, let's put my points. So I'm going to do 0 and +2, 1 and 1, 2 and 0, 3 and 1, 4 and 2. Again, if you want to put the negative ones in there, -1 and 3 and -2 and 4, you can if you wish. I'm going to see what happens here. Goes down and bounces off, and I've got my nice little graph of y is equal to the absolute value of x minus 2. Now my domain, like the last one, will be all real x values. My range is also the same as last one. Y is greater than or equal to 0, as you can see from there. Okay, so pretty straightforward stuff there. I might just look at a slightly trickier one. Well, it's not slightly trickier, let's be honest. Okay, so sketch the absolute value of, actually we'll do this one. I spoke about this one before, +1. When we know this is going to be exactly the same, I said before the absolute value of y equals x is that one. So this graph will look like this. Okay, so just by looking at it, I know it's going to be all real x, and y is going to be greater than or equal to +1. To be honest with you, you could probably do that and get away with it. But again, if you're not sure, let's draw an axis of x and y. Okay, I'm going to go 1, 2, -1, -2. I'm going to put some values in here. So we'll go 1, 2, 3, 4, etc. Let's put some points. So -2, absolute value of -2 is +2, 2 plus 1 is 3. Absolute value of -1 is +1, 1 plus 1 is 2. 0 plus 1 is 1, 1 plus 1 is 2, 2 plus 1 is 3. That's what I mean by doing it in your head. So you could have drawn the table of values out, or you can just do it in your head. And then I've got my line, I can see where it bounces off. Okay, put that there. And my domain, as expected before, was all real x. And my range, as expected before, was y is greater than or equal to +1. Okay, so pretty straightforward. Look, there are some more challenging types of graphs out there where they can actually go like this. Okay, they can go like that and then bounce up. Okay, that can happen. Absolutely, it can happen. But look, all I suggest is if you get a graph that you're not particularly sure of, just draw a table of values out. The more values you have, okay, the better it's going to be, and then you can pretty much figure out where it's going to bounce off that. Alrighty. Look, hope this made a bit of sense to you. We're doing a bit more work on absolute values as the year progresses, but the work that we did do off this, those who were away, were exercise 5.10 on page 194. Okay, we did look at those questions there, so if you were away, you can get those done. Have a good day, guys.